Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight, you're not going to believe this, we need to have a talk. Alright? I've got two clips for you guys. This first clip's pretty short, then we'll get into the main clip for you guys. But we're going to be talking about the Kansas. Kansas got a nerf recently. We're going to showcase how the nerf literally didn't do much of anything to this thing. This thing is still the best Tier 7 battleship, in my opinion. But, yeah, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about the beginning of this match. When I spawn in, I usually take a look around me, see who my teammates nearby are, and I can 9 times out of 10 tell you exactly what's about to happen. I look over, I've got a Charles Martel. I'm like, okay, Charles Martel, he's got no camo. First red flag, right? I'm like, oh boy, this is not going to end well. Also, we don't have a destroyer on our side of the map. Both the destroyers are on the other side. So this guy is going to YOLO forward. He also has a catapult fighter plane. Red flag number 2 on the Charles Martel. And then he goes ahead and he starts his sonar. That's red flag number 3. Now, I knew that this guy was dead. There's no getting around this. This guy is not going to survive the first 3 minutes of the match. There's no chance, right? So we are 50 seconds into the match. Well, 45. And it's about this time that this guy should get spotted. You can see he immediately turns away because he's spotted, right? And that usually means there's a destroyer charging us. Now, what happens next is to be expected. Everybody on the enemy team lights up. Broadside Charles Martel. Azuma reaches out, and Azuma just absolutely claps this Martel, taking all of his hit points. Veneto also shoots in his direction. We go ahead, take a shot. Oh, and then our Veneto decides, yes, now is a good time to smoke up. And down goes Charles Martel in under 1 minute and 15 seconds. That's pretty impressive. That is a top-tier cruiser dead in a minute and 15 seconds. It's even better when you start to think about how long he lived once he got spotted. Those are the numbers that really, really tell you a lot about how a player does. Now, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. It's pretty obvious. Guy either is a brand new player, doesn't know what he's doing, probably his first Tier 7 ship, and maybe even his first match in the ship. Hence the fact that it has catapult fighter still on instead of the reload booster, and it has, I think that's it. I forget which one you trade for the reload booster on the Charles Martel, but either way, not ideal, right? If you've got a sonar and a catapult fighter on your Charles Martel, you're probably doing it wrong. But anyway, that's not the end. This Veneto has also shown some red flags, like smoking up while bow in to 2 enemy ships who've already fired their guns. Now I also am aware that there's the destroyer in our cap. Why is that? Because destroyer is capturing the base. Notice destroyer is no longer capturing the base, meaning he left the cap. We were spotted by Azuma. Guess what's happening? He's about to torp. Guess what else? Our friendly Veneto is full broadside and waiting to get clapped. Now here we try to sneak a shot into the Lo Yang here. We were unable to do so. This man eats 5 torpedoes. Notice there were 2 sets of torps sent. So keep an eye on that. Remember that, right? Those are the things that we have to think about. Most people would have overlooked that both sets of torps were already gone. So rather than piddle fart around, we are going to pressure the Lo Yang. Now what happens next is pretty hilarious, to be honest. I know what's coming. I know that I am not going to dev strike this guy in one shot. He's got over 15k health. We can tell that because he has 3 health bars. That's at least 15,000, so he's probably got more than that, but less than 18. But we hit him, 8 overpins, 1 gun did not fire. What happens? We fire the rear gun, and we get 2 more overpins and leave him with just enough to get away. Now, this guy has no torpedoes, so he's not really a threat, except he has 1 more giant torpedo left. So he comes in, rams me right on the snoot. Why did we take it on the snoot? Well, because damage saturation, folks. That's why. Now, Veneto comes around the corner to my left. Now, our Veneto is sitting back there. He's lost all of his hit points. He ate all the torpedoes in the world. He's been getting shot by the enemy Veneto and the Azuma. So he's not long for this world. However, we're already rotating our guns around, utilizing the smoke screen that the Lo Yang so gracefully dropped for us. we are going to put ourselves in a position to close on enemy Veneto as he comes around the corner thinking he owns the joint. And we are going to showcase just how wrong he is. Now, I'm not going to fire my guns too early here. Why is that? Because we know that if we get the broadside of an Italian battleship, it's a wrap. It's GG Novri, you don't pass go, you don't collect $200. It's basically just like a Russian battleship in that sense. If you go broadside or get caught broadside, you are dead in an Italian battleship. There is no other way. And sure enough, front guns are ready. We've got them on, and fire the guns straight through the rear, or straight through the side of the ship. No problem whatsoever. And so we finish that game with 2 dev strikes and just a whole lot of just questionable plays. My teammates not paying attention to stuff that's going on. The enemy just throwing themselves away. It's just a lot of one and done plays by people, and it really does boggle the mind, man. And tonight has been a brutal night for me. I don't know what my win-loss total was for tonight. All I know is it was a lot of losses, and not even close. Tonight was one of those nights where it seemed like every game was a blowout, and some of them were on my team's favor, some of them were on the enemy team's favor, but every single game seemed like it was an absolute raffle stomp. And in a lot of the blowouts that we had, I was still putting up 2k base XP in losses. Like, that's brutal. When you're pushing that hard to where you're getting over 2,000 base XP in losses in a battleship, your teammates are just letting you down. Like, there's no other way around it. Like, I was averaging somewhere around 120,000 damage a game in my Kansas tonight while I was trying to get some games for you guys. But you guys know me. I don't like to showcase just the normal Kansas games, you know. If I'm going to bring out the Kansas for you guys, because it's a ship that's so well known on the channel, because it's one of my favorite ships to play, I need to bring the bangers. And so that's what this match is. An absolute banger. We are going to completely, hopelessly annihilate this entire team. And by we, I mean me. We, as a unit, you and I, the audience and me, we are going to absolutely annihilate this entire lobby. It's going to be great. So hopefully you guys are ready, because we're about to bring the pain. And this will be the perfect match to show just why the Kansas is what it is. Of course, Fiji gets spotted for half a second. Again, wish that wasn't a thing. I wish that there was like a 3-second minimum spotting time. Like, if you get spotted, you were spotted for at least 3 seconds, and then you can go dark. I think that's the way World of Tanks used to work back in the day. I know they have their new, if you can, like, it's like total, like, real vision or what, I forget what they call it. Anyway, you're always spotted nowadays. So no matter where you're at on the map, you can see everybody if you've got line of sight. But yeah, so anyway, this is going to be one of those times where the Kansas just does Kansas things. There's no other way around it. Like, this is just Kansas being Kansas. If you guys don't know what I'm about to do to the enemy team, then I mean, how many times do I got to show you guys in the Kansas just how strong this ship really is? And I'm going to showcase all of the things. We're going to showcase what happens when people should be focusing me, but they decide to shoot other people. I am going to showcase what happens when people just half-heartedly come around the corner and see that Kansas has already fired shells 3 seconds ago. It's I promise. Hang in there with me, folks. It's going to be beautiful. It's like conducting an orchestra when I'm in the Kansas sometimes. But right off the bat, Fiji is going into the cap, right? If I'm this Osashio right now, I'm out of there, right? You know you're contested. You know it wasn't the Fiji that was contesting you initially. You know they are contesting you now. Fiji's in a position where they can potentially be countered by our cruiser and our Colorado. I don't have a shot on Fiji, but notice there's another shot coming over my head right now. I'll be honest with you. I didn't notice that right now. I do notice that the enemy Missouri does get spotted, but obviously Fletcher is spotted. He takes priority. So we go ahead and we shoot him, and then we check and see what it is. It is Missouri, and we absolutely blap the Fletcher, taking over half his hit points. And that is exactly what you should do in this situation. Fine, if the destroyer gets spotted and you're loaded, take a shot at the destroyer, get as much hits on him as possible, and then try to worry about figuring out how you're going to counter the battleship. Now, look, Fiji's already dead, right? And then down goes our Miyoko. Miyoko went broadside to our Missouri friend here, who is shooting over top of me. So we're going to have to make Missouri pay, right? So first shot, can we just all agree that sometimes this game is just stupid? I think we can all agree on that, right? Remember that RNG right there, when I'm 4 kilometers away, and I shoot at the superstructure of the Missouri, and Moses is on board that battleship, I swear. Moses was on the bow, he just goes with his hand. Oh, you guys can't see me. I forgot, I'm not on a face cam. But anyway, he just parts the shells. He's just standing on the bow, and he just goes whoop, and all the shells just dodge the battleship. It's like, okay. And then we do that to him on the very next shot. Where literally every shell that comes out of the guns goes straight to where I actually aimed it. We managed to, I think we in-capped one of his guns. Keep that in mind for potential damage con, right? Usually when a battleship captain loses a gun, especially in a brawl like this, he's going to want to repair that. Now comes the destroyer around my left side, who's dropping torpedoes on Missouri. Missouri's already in reverse, and rather than sit here and stay bow into this guy, we're going to open up. He's not looking at us, so we're going to go ahead and give him the overall angle. If he shoots us right now, good for him. Otherwise, we just blap the ever-living out of him. We hit all 12 shells right there, just so you know. Only one of them didn't do any damage. The rest were 11 pins. Keep that in mind, right? That is how strong the Kansas really is, especially in these brawling type scenarios. I know a lot of people are like, but Spartan, why do you brawl in the Kansas? This is why. There's nobody that's going to out-trade the Kansas when it comes to, like, these sort of scenarios. Like, you rarely Citadel a Kansas in this situation. You might get a lot of penetrations, like we come around the corner, we're expecting him, and he's not even looking at us again. He's shooting at the Colorado. So what do? We reach out, we black one of his guns. Once again, we hit him with 10 out of 12 shells, right? He shoots at us, gets a couple of pins, and his game's over. So I ain't even worried. I'm already turning to bow tank the threat to my right. There's a cruiser over here shooting HE at me. Don't know what it is yet, but I know that there's a Synop over there as well, because we already shot at the Synop, right? We're on fire a second time. We're going to go ahead and damage con that. We know that our reload's about to beat this guy, so we go ahead and take the shot. Again, aiming high. We know that a shot into the superstructure is enough to kill. Every single one of those shells hits the target. Every one of them. We hit him with, what, 12 shells once again. 12 shells again. So that first salvo of Moses being on the bow and using his will to part the seas, part the shells, not gonna help him forever, right? So I'm pretty sure Moses is like, screw this, I'm walking home. And he just jumped off and parted the sea and walked home. But Hipper tries to do his best job he can to bow tank us. We're just gonna show him why that's a terrible idea. I guess it's better than going flat broadside, but not by much. Kansas does not care about your Hipper being bow in. Obviously, I'm trying to utilize the island here. I know that the Synop is here. I've got to try to focus him. The Colorado behind me is doing his job with the destroyer who's still back there hiding. So we are going to start focusing the Synop. Now, we know that before we get into an actual drive-by scenario with this man, we know that we can get a couple of shots in through his bow. So we take a shot with the front. We overmatch the Synop with... Synop has a 25mm bow, but he has the extended belt, or the icebreaker, whatever you want to call it. So that's why I'm aiming so high here, hoping to get those shots to go through that upper bow plating. Didn't work out very well. But it doesn't matter. Notice that I've already locked my guns to the left. I'm waiting for my opportunity. This Synop, he already knows what's coming. Like, even if he shoots me here, the likelihood he Citadels me slim and none. The likelihood that he gets dev struck, or if he had enough health to get dev struck, is pretty obvious. So we come around the corner, and we do actually get the dev strike out of it. 3 Citadels with just the front guns. Pay attention to the York, guys. Straight across from us, look at what we're already doing. Now here, Hipper comes around the island. He ends up eating a torpedo, so we don't have to worry about him. We obviously know that the Hipper's probably torping as well, so we're going to turn away from the Hipper, knowing he only has 6-kilometer torpedoes.
Torpedoes to port.
So we're going to try to put ourselves in a position to crossfire the York. We know he's coming, and there you see the torpedoes from the Hipper. Widespread. And he almost got me with one, to his credit. But not quite. But watch this next shot, guys. I hope you guys are ready. This is the stuff of legend, right? But RNG does giveth, and RNG does taketh away. So keep that in mind as we get towards the end of this fight. But 134,000 damage already, 3 kills, a dev strike, or 3 citadels, a dev strike, and a second kill. So here you can see I'm slowing down. I don't want to just YOLO around the corner here because I don't want to get reset before I get this base cap. I want the solo cap for the extra XP, and sure enough, we are actually going to get the solo cap. Now here, we come around the corner. Our enemy York is already spotted. We go ahead and place the shot out ahead of him. He doesn't see it coming until it's too late, and you can't make it any better than that, folks. That was a perfect bow side plating right through the cheeks into the Citadel. I don't care what ship was there. Any cruiser in that scenario pretty much dead, right? So next, we're in the perfect position. Look at our gun firing range. We're in the perfect position to counter the enemy Atago. So we're going to turn out. We're going to try to help our enemy or our friendly destroyer counter the Atago while our 2 teammates try to run away. So I don't know why they're running away. 2 cruisers running from an Atago seems a little bit sus to me, especially full health cruisers. But what do I know? We're going to come out here. We're not going to run away. We're going to try to help. Now here, I should have waited a little bit longer. Watch the map. You see those torps? I didn't think that they were going to hit. I'm like, okay, probably too far ahead of him. But he does end up taking one, and that changes his course right after I fire. So we only end up hitting 1 overpin here. I think that if that guy had stayed going in a straight line, and that guy hadn't torped him, I'm pretty sure I'd have dev struck him as well. Because those were beautifully placed. But getting torped and him turning towards the island was pretty much guaranteed that we weren't gonna do much. But here, I know the Atago is out here, and this next shot should have been a kill. This is RNG just saying screw you in particular. Tell me how these are overpins. Well, okay, looking back and seeing it now, most of the shells landed high. So, okay, I'll give you the overpins on that one. But a couple of those shells hit the belt, and that should have been a kill. There should have been a Citadel in there. The Atago is not that special, all right? All the Japanese cruisers are just floating citadels of sadness waiting for their opportunity to explode. That's all they are. Yes, they are fire spammers, but more than that. And this next shot, I don't know what happens. We know he's turning. We aim the shot high, and all of our shells dodge him. We hit him with 2 shells and leave him with just enough to get away. Maybe that was my aim on that one, but unfortunately, unable to take him down for the kill number 4. And with 20 seconds left on the fire, I mean, there's no real reason to even put this fire out. I'm expecting torpedoes. I was expecting the enemy destroyer to come after us. But instead, the Skane is out here trying to fight our Fletcher, I believe it is. But we're going to go ahead and take the shot out there, and they are on the way looking good. And nope. Fletcher manages to take him down right before our shells get there, as you do. But overall, do I think the nerf to the Kansas is detrimental? No, honestly, you don't even really notice. Yes, you'll notice that instead of doing 25,000 damage salvos without citadels, but look, 3,100 base XP. Like, really? It was easy. It wasn't even a challenge. Like, it was legitimately like the easiest game ever. So let me know what you guys think. So far, like, I don't know. The buffs to some of the stuff that they buffed, I don't know if it really made sense. And then the nerfs, I mean, let's be honest, none of the nerfs that they made to any of the ships are working whatsoever. If they want to reduce the effectiveness of the Kansas, they need to reduce its accuracy overall. Reducing the damage is just stupid, honestly. But you're still going to be able to put out those 15,000, 20,000 damage superstructure shots with ease with the Kansas. Like, it's that good, right? And trust me, I don't want the Kansas to get worse. I'm just saying, like, if they're going to nerf it, they need to nerf it, right? If it's too effective, make it slightly worse. Changing the damage output of the shell isn't really going to stop it from being Kansas. But the other thing is, like, Shima's nerf. I mean, Shima's nerf is laughable. My Shima is literally 0.1 detectability worse, right? That's it. Went from a 4.9 to a 5.0. Didn't change anything I do with the ship. So, again, I think the buffs and the nerfs that they do are questionable at best. I know that they're trying not to, like, go too far because people tend to, like, get really, really upset too easily because people are the way they are. But honestly, I don't know. I think they can. They're probably going to re-nerf the Kansas in the next patch. They're probably going to hopefully re-nerf the Shima in the next patch because their nerfs aren't doing anything. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Again, I'm not going to waste your time too much longer. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.